Hello, everybody. Hi. People are hopping in. Hello there. Luna Moon 394 just joined the chat. Hello. Okay, so today I am just doing a get ready with me chit chat, I guess. I haven't done a live stream since last week, and so yeah, I was just really busy this week, and so I wasn't really able to do live streams. But yeah, I'm here with an unplanned live stream. I'm trying to do TikToks today, like record a lot of videos today, because I was doing a lot of ideas brainstorming with my boyfriend yesterday for TikTok, and so yeah, now I want to record some, and I'm gonna put on some makeup. And if you guys have questions, I guess you can ask me in the box below. Tulip Singh says, "Hi, how are you?" Hello, I am doing very awesome. Thank you very much. I hope you are having a wonderful day today as well. Okay, so since this is an unplanned live stream, typically I don't do giveaways when it's not planned. When it's a planned live stream, I usually do giveaways. And so planned versus unplanned means like, oh, there's like a registration box in my link in bio. This one, I didn't have a registration. It was just like, oh yeah. But anyway, since it's unplanned, do you guys still want to do a giveaway? I'm not sure if enough people will show up. That's the only thing. But, you know, if you guys want to do a giveaway, let me know, and I guess we can figure out what the prize will be for this live stream. Infested Spirals says, "Hi, I love your content." Hello! Thank you for liking my content. I am really happy that a lot of people like my content and they find my fashion content inspiring, and yeah. So, because fashion has been a very, very, very important part of my life and journey of like self-discovery and like creating confidence in myself and all of that. So it makes me really happy that the content that I create can also help other people feel the same. Yeah, so Blue Game Freak just joined the chat. Hello there. OMG, hi, yes, hello. Okay, so no one has answered it yet. Do you guys want to do a giveaway for this live stream? Oh, okay. So Infested Spiral says, "A giveaway sounds exciting." Awesome. Okay, so one person asked for it, which is awesome. So for my giveaways, the way I typically format giveaways during my live streams is that you have to be here till the end of the live stream. I think it's gonna take me probably an hour to do my makeup. Maybe it takes me longer because I'm not that great at it, but yeah. So if you guys are here till the end of the live stream, that is when I do the random prize drawing. I just like scroll through randomly to select a comment, and then whenever I stop, that's when like, oh, the comment that's there, that's the person who wins. And if they're still here at the end of the live stream, they win the prize. So if that's the case, you know, if you guys want to do a giveaway, it means that you have to be here towards the end as well. I don't know exactly how long it's going to take me to do my makeup, but when I'm done with my makeup, that's when I'm going to be doing the giveaway drawing, because that's when I'm going to end the live stream. So yeah, let me read some comments here. Yeah, so Luna Moon and Sweet Dreams, oh, hello, says Sweet Dreams. Luna Moon agrees that they want to do a giveaway. Awesome. And then Blue Game Freak has starry eyes, so I'm assuming that that's like you also want to do a giveaway. Okay, so while I have all my concealer on, let me blend this out really quick so that it doesn't like dry up on my face. And then I will tell you guys. Oh, I guess I can do it with my left hand. Okay, so these were some of the prizes that I was thinking, okay, it's easy to just do a giveaway if you guys wanted to do one. So I have this bandage. It's a Heartbeat red bandage, and this can go like on your elbow, or it can go like on your knee. And for those people who actually have like chronic pain issues, they use these bandages, these compression bandages by like Ace Bandage or whatever is the brand, to actually help reduce the pain. But if you don't have chronic pain issues, then it's an accessory that has, you know, again, like you guys know if you follow me, the medical aesthetic, so that, you know, you can promote mental health awareness. And so that's what this bandage is. And then I have a hair clip, and I have my scissor necklace in red and black, and then I have a face mask that is pink and blue. So let me know in the comments, you guys, which giveaway prize you like the most, and I will make that the prize for today. So again, the options are mask, bandage, scissor, necklace, or hair clip. So if you guys can tell me which one you like the most, then I will make that one the giveaway prize at the end of this video. In the meantime, there are some comments scrolling by and I will try my best to read them. I cannot particularly see very well through these contact lenses, but I will do my best. Yes. In Your Imagination asks, oh, you're doing a giveaway. Yes, I am, and it's because for the people who hopped in when I first started the live stream, they wanted to do one, even though I don't typically do one when they're not planned, because I don't know how many people are going to show up. But that's okay. You guys have voted, so I will give you a prize. 69 says, hello. Blue Game Freak says, I'm not here for giveaways, I'm here for you. LMAO, thank you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's just very, very strange. You know, like, I have this, you know, it's not a huge insecurity, but it is an insecurity that kind of has lasted since my childhood, I guess, that I was definitely the kid with no friends, and the kid that when I invited people to my birthday parties, no one would show up. Or like when I hosted a Halloween party, I invited people, and like one person showed up, and everyone else who came to the Halloween party was my brother's friends. So I don't have that big of an insecurity anymore, but I definitely like feel often or like remember often that it's like, you know, nobody cares about me. Not particularly that I want like, oh, it's a sob story or whatever. It's just that that's just how I grew up. And you know, when I was younger, I was actually not a great person. And so I guess the insecurity is less about, oh, do I have friends or do people care about me? More so than, am I still a shitty person? And is that why no one cares about me? Because when I was younger, I was definitely not a good person. I had a lot of anger issues, and I bullied my brother, and I was just mean to people because I had so many insecurities about myself, so I would be mean to people. And so that's not good at all. So I think over the years, it's been a while now, that has changed, and so, you know, sometimes that lingers in the back of my mind sometimes. But thank you, Blue Game Freak, for saying that you're here for me, because that makes me happy, and it makes me, you know, I guess I feel a little bit more validated in the work that I've done on myself as a person. And that helps me a lot, honestly. 69 says, how are you? I am doing well, I'm doing amazing, and I hope that you are having a wonderful day as well. Luna Moon says, if we make fan art of you and your outfit, where can we send it to you for your art to see? Okay, so you can send it to me via my, I guess, email is the best way. If email, you can't remember it or whatever, it's like on my website, but it's like harder to find because it's not like on the first page. It's meridian@umelixir.com. Or you can go to my Instagram DMs and send it to me there, and then I can send you my email address so that it doesn't get like image quality crushed inside of the Instagram DM. That would be the best way. Thank you so much if you guys are wanting to do fan art of me. That makes me like so happy. And it just, because I'm not good at like illustration or anything like that, so it's like it makes me happy that other people want to do that. Sweet Dream 605 says, your eyes look like black doll eyes. I mean it in a good way. Yes, these are contact lenses. Trigger warning, I guess. I'm going to touch my eye really quick so you guys can see. But if you don't want to see that, then just look away. Yeah, they're just contact lenses. So my eyes are brown underneath it, and then I have the contact lenses on, and then when I actually put on the makeup, it like evens out the size and all of that. Yeah, 69 says, I broke my knee and I used my old sleeves from old shirts. Oh no! I hope your knee heals quickly. I'm sure the doctor has helped you with like a cast or something like that so that it will heal faster and heal well, and that your knee will function properly again later on. So I hope that it is not hurting too much today. Infested Spiral says, the mask, I think everyone needs one of those right now. Wear your mask, I love the bandage. Okay, so people are voting. I like the hair clip. So two people said mask and one person says bandage and hair clip. My favorite is the scissor necklace and one person says the necklace. It's because I have a Care Bear shirt that matches. Aw, so cute. One Min Restaurant says, hello, hello there. Your hands are so skinny and pretty. Yeah, I feel a little bit strange, you know, getting compliments about like being pretty or like, you know, like being skinny or something like that, because, you know, like there's nothing wrong with being skinny, right? But I also don't think that there's anything particularly right with being skinny. As you guys know, on the internet, there's a lot of debate about like beauty standards and stuff like that. And so I often, you know, feel like those kinds of compliments, it's not like I don't appreciate them, because I do, and so thank you so much for letting me know. But I do often feel like, you know, like other people who have different body shapes and stuff can receive the same type of compliments. And so I just wonder, you know, like, is it okay to, you know, ask for, or like to say thank you because of those compliments, or is it more appropriate for us to learn how to give compliments on like things that require skill or effort? You know, like if there was someone who, you know, was a plus size person and then they actually worked to lose weight, then, you know, like then, and that's something that they wanted to do and they did it in a healthy way and they had healthy support systems, you know, so that they're not trying to lose weight in a way that would cause their mental health to go down, or for them to do unhealthy actions to their body. You know, if they did it like that, then it's like, that makes sense, you know, like if you wanted to compliment them on being skinnier because they worked for it and it was a healthy thing for them, mentally and physically, you guys. Both are important. But for me specifically, I have never had a lot of weight. My metabolism is extremely high, and it's actually very difficult for me to gain weight. And so for me to receive compliments like that, it's just kind of strange to me, because it's not like I ever worked for it. And for me, I take a lot of pride in like the work that I do. And so, you know, like I love compliments that are more like, oh, I love your outfit, because I actually put effort into the thought process and the creativity of an outfit. Or like, you know, like, oh, I like your makeup because I have been doing makeup for years and I feel like I'm okay at makeup. So sometimes those compliments, I like those ones. But, you know, as far as like being skinny, you know, like I say thank you out of politeness, but I wonder if that's like appropriate, because, you know, it's not something that I did. And I never want to take away from like people who are plus size or anything like that as well. And so, you know, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, like, you know, like the compliment is not wrong, but I just wanted to explore that topic a little bit. And I guess my feelings about it, because sometimes I don't know if it's like proper for me to reply to comments like that, more so than like, you know, like, oh, I love the products you make, or I love your style, or I love your hair, because that actually, this took a lot of work. Versus just like my body type, I literally have done zero work on it. I eat when I want, and my metabolism is high, and I never have ever had to count calories or anything like that. I've never had to work for my body type. And so, you know, of course, like, unless I actually talk about it, no one's gonna know. So, but yeah, I just thought I'd put that out there in case anybody wanted to know. Okay, so let me keep scrolling down here. Oh, that Rye guy. I wonder if you're still on here. Hello, Pasta. So that Rye guy is my boyfriend. We did a lot of like research together yesterday and some brainstorming for some TikTok things, and yeah, we're trying to put together like a gaming anime meme kind of account, and maybe it'll go somewhere. But you know, like I love anime a lot and he loves gaming, and so we decided to, on his account, like put together anime and gaming things on there that's hopefully funny. So yeah, if you guys are interested in anime and games, then maybe check out that account. That Rye guy is my boyfriend's account. Sweet Dream says, oh, I understand. Oh, okay, so awesome. I'm really happy that that was understood, and it didn't like come across misconstrued, because I definitely don't want it to feel that way. Okay, so One Min Restaurant says, I'll be going to my first convention tomorrow. Do you have any advice? Yes, I have lots of advice, because I do have a lot of con experience, and I have also done a lot of like boothing and like artist alley tables and stuff, so it can be a lot of effort to go to a convention. But if you are just attending, you know, I highly suggest that you bring a lot of water, and don't bring a whole case unless you're gonna lug around like a cart full of it, because water is heavy, but you're going to need water. At least where I live in California, it's very hot here, and conventions with a lot of people are also, it's very, very hot. And for some reason, and it's not particularly, I think, the convention's fault more so than like maybe the center's fault, or maybe like the city is actually experiencing electrical distribution problems during the summer, but the air conditioner can go out and then it gets very, very hot. And so that's one thing that I suggest, is make sure you have water. If you are comfortable, slash you have advice from your doctors for the types of medications you're allowed to have, bring painkillers. I know that not everyone can have certain types of painkillers because of like allergies, or you know, like there are some that are addictive because maybe you have chronic pain issues or something like that. But you know, if you need it, like bring painkillers, because of like, what do you get, headaches or something? That's a big deal too. When I was younger, and I was first getting into cosplay and I was wearing wigs, of course I have long hair, and then I would wear wigs, and one of the most common problems that I experienced was getting headaches because of like the wig pressure on my head, because I have so much hair, and then the wigs are heavy, and then the way that I put like the bobby pins or the way that I tied my hair gave me massive headaches. And so if you need to take off your wig, it's comfortable for you to, then just do that. Like take it off, because that's the best way to do it. But if you want to keep it on because you're gonna do a photo shoot with your friends, or maybe you're gonna enter a cosplay contest or something like that, then maybe you want to have some painkillers, because that's going to help a lot. Yeah, so those are some of the major things. Additionally, some of the other things to look out for is just if you are going to take pictures at a convention, when someone asks to take your picture, or when you ask somebody else if you want to take their picture, make sure that you're not blocking any walkways, especially if like you're in artist alley and it's like really crowded, the tables are really close together and you can't see each other. You know, move out of the way. If you're gonna try to like take a picture of them far away so that you can do full body, make it so that you guys are like on the same side of the wall in the hallway. So like if you're here taking the picture and then someone's on this side of the wall over here, that way you don't block the walkway. If you're like trying to take a picture across, and it's like people are trying to move, so that's a thing too. Another one is, you know, if you need to go to the bathroom, don't wait until like you're bursting to actually go, because conventions get very crowded, and the bathroom lines can be very long. So especially if you are someone that might need like mobility aids or things like that, definitely keep that into consideration. Maybe having like a schedule for you and your friends to know, like, let's go to the bathroom like at a certain time or whatever, so that it's easier. Another thing too is like convention centers. Oh, I started putting on my highlight first, but I want to put on my blush first. I talk and then I cannot put on my makeup properly because I'm not thinking anymore. Sorry, guys. Convention centers often do not have good cell phone service, and so it is best if you go with friends, that you have a schedule if you are going to separate, or at least a time that you're going to meet up and a place again. Because if you're trying to message each other, trying to find each other, you might not end up being able to find each other. So it's best that if you do split up, that you have like a plan of when you guys are going to get back together or anything like that. Additional things, if you bring food, they might not let you in the convention centers, but like if you bring food, it makes your convention cheaper. That's what I did a lot, is that I would bring food. And so sometimes, and depending on the line, you know, that you're in, and the security guard that checks you in, they'll tell you that you can't bring in the food. And then if you go to a different line, sometimes they'll let you in because it doesn't really matter. But that's just something to keep in mind, is like, you know, don't bring a whole potluck of food, but, you know, bring things that are like not easy to like spill and like stuff like that. So like if you have like packaged, you know, like power bars or, you know, stuff like that, then it makes it easier to accept that, you know, they're gonna go in there and like they won't try to make you throw it away or anything like that. And so that's another thing. So bringing food is helpful. Bringing painkillers, bringing water, but not too much water so that your bag is too heavy. I personally don't like to carry heavy bags. I actually always go to conventions with like a big crate, because like a rolly crate, and it is big and it is kind of annoying because other people, it's hard to walk around it. But for me personally, because I cannot carry heavy loads, like as you guys know, I'm very skinny, so I'm very weak, and I cannot carry things for a long amount of time. Otherwise, like my back hurts and stuff like that. So rolly things are helpful, but just be mindful that it makes the ability to walk around the convention a little bit more difficult because it's crowded, and so you might have to wait a little bit longer before you're allowed to go through. But it just depends on your experience of like what you need. And so those are just some quick tips, I guess, even though I talked about it for like 30 minutes of like convention things. Okay, so Marie Candy says, hi, sorry I'm late. Hello. In your imagination, I've been to some of your lives and I can tell you're a good person. Oh, thank you so much. Rune OSDDDID. Hi, you're like so pretty. Sorry, is that weird? I don't mean it in a weird way. Oh, okay, so I did mention this a little bit earlier, is that it's fine. Like, I think the compliment is totally fine, but I think me personally, this is just me personally, I don't speak for everybody. I personally like compliments that are more on the like, oh, I like your hair, because usually people take care of their hair, or like your makeup is pretty, or like your outfits are awesome, or like, like something that they put effort into because they put skill, thought, time, and effort into it, versus like, oh, you're pretty, you could be born this way, or something like that, or like maybe you didn't put in any actual effort, like me. The way that I look, I guess, and then like my body type, I have put zero effort into that. I have not done any like plastic surgeries or anything like that. There are some people that do, and it's part of their journey, and that's acceptable as well. And if it was a positive, healthy thing for them mentally and physically and financially, then of course that's like a good compliment for them. If they have lost weight, or maybe they have gained weight, depending on where on the spectrum they are with their body, it is a compliment only if you know their story and that they worked on that in a healthy way, mentally and physically. But just to naturally be my body type, I think it's more so that we appreciate like, what is it called? Compliments. Compliments that we put effort into. And so I think, like being pretty, it's like, it's an easy compliment, but it might not apply to everybody. And so that's just something that I think is like a more mindful thing when communicating online, and then you don't want to be misconstrued or anything like that. Yeah, so damn, critiquing compliments that uphold false beauty standards. Your brain is so pretty. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just, I grew up, and I've always been skinny, and I've received compliments for being skinny, but I have never done anything, I've never put effort into it. So it's kind of like, like, why should I receive a compliment for existing? You know what I'm saying? And, there are people, I've had friends who are on the plus size side, and it was actually right before a convention that we went to. It was actually my first convention I was cosplaying at, and my friend who was plus size was with me, and I had made her a costume, I had made me a costume, I made my friends all the costumes because I'm the one who knows how to sew. And then what ended up happening was, her mom came over like the day before the convention because, like, I guess she forgot her wallet or something at home, and so her mom came by. And then so when, she rang the doorbell and stuff, I answered it, and then, like, we were all like getting ready on our costumes and stuff, and then my friend was getting her, like her wallet. And then what ended up happening was her mom was complimenting my body type because I was skinny, and like, and that was like really devastating to me, because it's like, hey, we're about to go to a convention right now, we're about to have a lot of fun, we're wearing costumes that make us feel happy and confident in ourselves, and her mom was putting her down about her body type in front of me and in front of her. And it was just so like I was not educated enough to really figure out how to make her feel better, because I knew it was wrong, but I didn't know what to say. But that was really devastating for me, because it was like, of course it was devastating for her, but I'm like talking about my perspective. I'm not trying to overshadow her feelings. But yeah, that to me was just like really, really, really sad, because obviously like her relationship with her body was not a healthy one, because of how she grew up. Like that was the first time that I ever saw that occur. When I was younger, I was like graduating high school, or like I was in high school and we were going to that convention, and that happened to my friend and her mom, and I'm just like, that type of close relationship, it's just so sad. You know, like, it's one thing when it's like internet trolls and internet hate and stuff like that, and it's like these are strangers, and then there's a little bit of like numbness that you can kind of develop to strangers who are just, you know, like dumb, you know. But then when it's like, this is your mom, and this is the family who should be supporting you, like, that's just really, really devastating for me. And so, you know, I haven't talked to that friend in a while, but I hope she's doing better. I hope she's doing okay. But yeah, so that was just one of my experiences, and it's I have more experiences as well pertaining to like how my body is compared to other people, and it's just always so bad for other people, and it's like, why do I get these kind of compliments? And so that's why I feel weird about it. Of course, I can't like always message that back, and like every time like someone comments on my on my post, because it's a lot to say. But yeah. So someone asked, what inspired you to be you? Okay, that is a very like general question, but I think it's very important to me personally, because you know, becoming myself has been a lot of work. And so, you know, like, becoming pretty is not any part of my journey. It might be other people's journeys, but not mine. But becoming myself as an individual has been very, very, very important to me. So if you guys know, my name is Meridian. You guys can see it on my profile and stuff like that. I did contour, I did blush, I did highlight. Okay, I guess it's time for me to do my eyeshadow. Or it's harder to do my eyeshadow and talk at the same time, so I'm gonna do my hair first. So becoming myself, becoming Meridian, because Meridian is not my legal name. If you guys have been on my live streams before, you guys know that I don't have any preference on my pronouns. I do identify as she, her. I was born a she, her, and I identify as that, and I have no problem with like my body, and I have no problem with my gender identity or my sexuality. That was not something that I experienced. What I did experience growing up was like, particularly like quote unquote an identity crisis. I don't want to be like super dramatic because, or anything like that, but that's what I had. I had like an identity crisis about like who I was, because I hated myself. If you guys were here earlier during my live stream, I did mention, you know, like, that I was an awful person before. I didn't have a lot of friends. I had a hard time socializing, and stuff like that. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was just not a good person. And so when I was younger, you know, I told myself that I was the shit, and I was like cool, and I was awesome and whatever. But, you know, I told myself that because, you know, what kind of young kid is going to tell themselves that they hate themselves? You know, maybe people who experience like depression or inferiority complexes and stuff, they do have that. But I was just speaking generally. I wasn't trying to overshadow anyone's experiences. I'm just saying about mine. As a young kid, I was telling myself that I loved myself and that I was super cool and I was super awesome, but I was not. And I say this now that I'm older, but I never said that when I was younger, because I think I would have mentally not been able to handle it. If I knew that I hated myself and that I was an awful person, and the reason why I didn't have friends was because I was a shitty person. And so, you know, when I was younger, I always compared myself to other people. Like, you know, like, I was never good at drawing, I was not good at singing, I was not good at playing video games, and like, I was never able to play a musical instrument. I was not creative. I was just a mean person. And I had no creative outlets at the time. And then eventually, you know, when like school always kind of introduces a little bit of arts to you, I started to participate in like the school theater, like elementary and middle school. Nothing like super cool, like as far as acting goes or whatever. But in theater, I would act, and then I would also like decorate the set. And so these were kind of creative outlets for me. And so something I realized when I was acting was that I had to think about what it was like to be this other character or this other person. And, you know, the way that kids' stories would play out is that, you know, the character goes through some issues or some kind of trouble or some kind of problem, and at the end of the story they are able to overcome the problem. The problem is solved. And so not every story is like that, but, you know, for kids, it's a healthy mentality to kind of instill in them, is that problems can be solved, things can get better, there are happy endings that do exist, and I think that those are valid. And so, you know, but so that for me, it really helped me personally. those types of stories. When I was acting as certain characters, it would really help me to be a character that could overcome problems, you know? So it was like, you know, this character that was facing certain issues with their family or their friends or just, you know, something that happened in the story, you know, they were able to solve it in the end. And so for me, being a character that could actually solve their problems and have a happy ending helped me mentally to try to be more like those characters. And so acting, even though I'm not a very good actor, it was just school. It wasn't anything major, so don't ask me to act because I'm not good at those things. It was just a coping mechanism for me when I was younger. So for me, acting really helped me to kind of envision myself as a different person rather than being stuck in my own thoughts. You know, there wasn't a lot of information about mental health or information about how to deal with your thoughts and your feelings back then. And so I was very lucky that acting kind of resonated with me when I was younger, because if I were to pretend that I was another character, and then it was less about me and more about the character. So if I made mistakes, it would be, I wouldn't feel as bad about it because it's like, oh, okay, this is the character. And so, but the character, when they make mistakes, they're able to actually think about how to fix it. And so I would pretend to be the character, and it's like, okay, how do I fix this? But, you know, but being, you know, like if I was always making mistakes and I was just thinking about, oh, it's my fault, oh, it's me, there's something wrong with me, and, you know, the problems I was having, I would always be caught up in negative thoughts and negative thinking all the time, because that is what I used to experience when I was younger. Was just that I hated myself and I was always comparing myself to other people. I was never good enough, you know, all of these things. And because I was able to put myself into like the mindset of like another person, or like I was pretending to be another person, it was less personal, you know, for me when I was experiencing these issues. Does that make sense? Like it was able to help me really separate my thoughts from my actions, because a lot of times the thoughts that, you know, you say to yourself in your head are not always the most healthy ones. And so that was a really big deal for me. And so acting became a really big deal as far as like my name. So that's what I was saying earlier. My name is Meridian, but it's not my legal name. It is the name that I have chosen for myself. And so Meridian is not the first name that I have used when acting. Yeah, so the acting eventually got far enough that I actually wanted to be addressed differently. And so in different classrooms, teachers would ask if we had preferred names. I also moved schools a lot as well. And so that kind of gave me the opportunity to be different people in different classes. And so I didn't really understand who I was as a person yet. And so I would actually act. It's kind of cringy, I guess, if you think about it that way. But I acted differently in each class. And I guess it was mostly so that I can kind of gauge, I guess, reactions or, you know, like consequences of my actions to see if I liked what happened next. You know, and so with each kind of character that I played, it helped me to, you know, like form, I guess, the overall personality that I am today, because I was able to kind of experiment with like what would, you know, these different names. Well, so I had different names like Scarlet or like Candy or whatever, and they were just these nicknames. And I would be like, what would Scarlet do in this situation, and how would she react? And then I would do those things. And so, yeah, it's kind of cringy, but that's what I did. And eventually, when I became Meridian, I was actually starting to make better decisions overall. And I started to like myself better. And so after Meridian, I stopped changing my name because I actually started to like myself. I did have a lot of growth since I have started using Meridian. I started using Meridian in 2011. So I've been Meridian for 10 years now. And I have grown a lot since then, but I have never really experienced like such deep self-hate the way that I did prior to that. And so, yeah, that was kind of like my journey. I'm not trying to promote, you know, pretending to have different personalities or anything like that, but I do think that there is some kind of merit in being able to be more open and experimental with who you are as a person. You know, when you're younger, a lot of people like, you know, they kind of have this idea of who you are in like the kind of box of a person that you are based on like your personality or things that you say or whatever. And then, you know, the way that you act or whatever, people might call you out and say like, oh, you're being weird today, or like, you know, like, who are you today? Because when you're trying to actually change as a person and maybe something's changed, and your friends might notice that, or like, you know, other people might notice that, they call you out on like these changes. And I think that that's kind of toxic because, you know, people change and it's a good and healthy thing to change. Of course, if you're doing bad things and you're changing in a bad way, that's one thing. But it's like, you know, like if you're trying to experiment with, you know, trying to be more outgoing or trying to do new clothes. Like when I was trying to do new clothes, that's actually like when I had some friends from, and this is very, very, very young. It's not like, you know, when we're older and like, you guys should be adults now. I was very young, and you know, my friends would be like, what are you wearing today? You know, and it's like, but these different clothing and stuff like really helped me with, and my fake bangs. These clothing and stuff really helped me with like experimenting with myself as a person. And so that was really important to me. And so, you know, but, so what I'm saying, I guess, is don't be, I guess, afraid of like what people are going to say, because they are going to say something. And, you know, if they are going to say something and be negative about it, they might not be your friends. They might not be actually friends, or just hanging out with you because you guys are in school together or something like that. And you guys have the same classes or something, you know, but they're not really friends that you're going to have for a long time. And so that's okay. You know, if you want to experiment with your personality, if you want to experiment with the way that you react to things, if you want to experiment and try to do things more positively, you want to try things a little bit more negatively, because maybe you're a doormat, because I definitely was to a certain extent, and you want to be a little bit more like maybe stubborn, or like speak your mind more, or maybe you don't want to say anything. Like, try these different things in different situations and see how you feel internally, and see how the consequences go. Like, of course, like, don't do anything like super dire, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna stand in the middle of the street. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, like, I mean, like, just, you know, like in different scenarios when you can react to things or whatever, when you hang out with friends or whatever. Like, you can experiment with those things and then like start to form how you feel about yourself. Did you like the reaction that you got from certain people? You know, like, and these kinds of things, you know, like, it does the reactions and does the consequences of the way that you interacted build you up, build you in confidence, you know, help you form, like, figure out who is your real friends and stuff like that. Like, these are the types of things that you can do. And I'm not trying to say that you should fake yourself. I'm just trying to say that it's good to experiment with different parts of yourself so that you can figure out who you are. And so that was a big deal for me. And I just kind of did that, and I was able to kind of like mentally keep myself in check when I was different names. That's what helped me kind of like remember to do these different things, and not always to just react initially or react emotionally or just react immediately. I would actually try to think through my actions, and I did that because I was always quote unquote acting with these different names that I had. And so, and again, like, acting helped me a lot to socialize a little bit, because like, I was always very, very shy. Even to this day, like, me talking on live stream and stuff is very easy, because it's just like, oh, I'm just talking here, and then like I can kind of skip through comments, or I can like read comments that I wanted, versus like, you know, in person where it's like there's some live reaction going on. It's harder for me. But I am less shy now overall, just because of like this ability to kind of put myself into like another person's shoes, or like a different perspective, or, you know, to kind of separate my feelings from like, you know, like, and like of who I am now from like versus like who I want to be. And so that was a really big deal for me. And so, you know, acting was a really big part of that. And then the second part of it was fashion, as you guys know. And so fashion for me really helped me with like a creative outlet. And it also helped me to kind of experiment with the personalities of that, like the different characters, right, that I wanted to portray. And in that kind of sense, I was experimenting with like different aesthetics and like how it would match the characters that I would kind of create in my brain. And it helped me a lot because then I was able to kind of formulate my own style. And so like like this is much different from like, you know, it's not like a personality disorder where I have multiple personalities, and it's not at all anything like that. And I'm not trying to promote that that's like because I'm not educated in that sector. I'm just saying that that's how my brain thought of it when I was going through that. And so I wasn't trying to accentuate these personalities or anything like that. It was more so that I was using them to kind of experiment in different areas of existing and then picking what I liked the best. For me personally and my own mental health and the way that I wanted to form relationships and the way that I wanted to, you know, develop as a person. And so different style preferences and the way that I felt wearing these certain things really helped me with forming like who I am now, how I want to treat people, how I want to build relationships with certain types of people and friends and stuff like that. So that was what I did. So that's what inspired me to be me, was I was experimenting with acting and fashion. And so I don't do a lot of acting really anymore per se. I am Meridian and I have been for 10 years now. And of course Meridian has changed over time, and that's just because I no longer need to use different names as a coping mechanism to like myself. Does that make sense? The reason why I needed to have names for me personally was so that I can separate how much I hated myself from me trying to become another person. Because when you are trying to grow as a person, it's very hard to separate who you are. You know, it's kind of like when people have like relapses, right? Like you want to grow, but then sometimes you take a couple steps back and it's easy to give up. So a big coping mechanism for me back then was to have names, because I understood that I was on a journey and I wasn't there yet. And so I am, you know, my legal name, and I want to be Scarlett, I want to be Savira, I want to be Candy, I want to be Sable, I want to be these different people. And I would try to do that. And eventually, when I became Meridian, or like started using that name, I was making better decisions based on my experiences about like who I wanted to be. And I stopped needing to have new names because I started to actually like myself more, and I didn't need to separate how much I hated myself from who I wanted to be. Like I was actually on the journey of like being who I wanted to be already. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. And that was helpful. Someone says, when did you start sewing? Okay, so I'm answering a lot of questions now and like going on to a lot of stories, but I guess the prize for the giveaway is going to be the mask, because I had you guys vote earlier, like which one you guys wanted to do, and mask got 2 votes, everything else got 1, from what I saw. So if I see more votes later, sorry, but I'm just officially saying that so that you guys are not like left on a cliffhanger, I guess, because I didn't answer that question earlier. So someone said, when did you start sewing? I started sewing when I was in 7th grade, and so that was like 2007, 2008, and that was actually also at the same time that I was doing musical theater, or was like kind of like experimenting with musical theater in my middle school. And so, sorry, I'm trying to pick a palette to use now. I realized that you guys can all see my palettes, and there's a level of like on my posts and stuff, I've been actually quote unquote like hiding what palettes that I have, but I guess you guys all see it now because of the questionable people I have bought from in the past. I guess it's revealed now, but yeah, so I guess you guys know, so whatever. If you guys want alternatives to questionable people, I will actually link a video in my link in bio. I actually have a lot of resources for like all of these different things, because I know like, and that's the thing too, right? Like we make mistakes or we make certain compromises on like the things that we do because of like convenience or financial need or like whatever it is. Anyway, I will provide resources to alternatives if you want alternatives to makeup that is not questionable. But anyway, I actually was up till 5 in the morning last night, finishing up, or like, you know, kind of filling out my mental health resources document, which is now available on my link in bio if you guys need that or need to share that with other people. There is a lot of mental health resources in my link in bio now. And then so I guess alternatives for like the shopping and stuff for like makeup or whatever, I will make a document for that later on. But anyway, Someone said, when I started sewing. I started sewing when I was in, like I said, 7th grade. And that was when I was introduced to sewing. And so that helped me a lot because I was experimenting with my fashion at that time, but I didn't have like the ability to make new clothes, and I was obviously very young and I could not buy a lot of clothes. So experimenting with fashion often meant like a lot of outfit repeating, which is there's no issue with that. But my ability to actually experiment with things really came when I started sewing. And my fashion sense and stuff like that. I need red, and I don't even know what palettes have red. Oh, because I'm dumb. Okay. The first thing that I ever made was like a bag. It's like a square bag, a square duffel bag, and that was like the project for the class. And then when I started taking that, like I actually got a sewing machine for home and stuff like that, I was still in that sense of like I didn't like myself and I was not very confident. I didn't have any creative outlets or skill sets per se. Acting wasn't like a skill set, it was really just a coping mechanism. So I didn't have anything going for me really as far as like who I was or like what I liked about myself. And so when I started sewing, that was kind of the first creative outlet, you know, because I was like kind of crafty. You know, my mom did teach me like how to like make bracelets and stuff. But it wasn't particularly like it had a major effect on like who I was per se until like I started sewing, because that's kind of when it completed like the fashion circle for me. It's like, oh, I can make accessories and I can make clothes. And so now, wow, this is very, 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 very bright on this camera because it's not. I'm very pale on this camera too, actually. I'm more olive skin toned. I'm like very, very pale, like porcelain right now on this camera, but anyway. Filters, but I don't actually have a filter on, it's just the way that the camera's interpreting me. Anyway, and so when I was sewing, I wanted to experiment more with like actually like, you know, like making clothes that would help me feel more me. At the time I was also watching a lot of anime, so I was doing a lot more like crazy kind of clothing rather than just like normal clothing and experimenting in like the normal fashions at the time. And so that really led to a lot, because at the same time that I was kind of like acting, coping with myself, and then also experimenting with creative and fashion and stuff, that's when I learned how to sew. And so that's kind of all together, all three of those things became like a really big part of who I am, and like experimenting with myself in different outlets, my personality, the way I presented myself through fashion, and like actually having a creative outlet for making things and developing a skill set that I could actually be proud of. And so that's when I started sewing, and that's how it helped me. Someone says, hearing you talk is really interesting. I think you are a very inspiring person. Oh, so thank you. That's kind of like my goal with social media, is really like to inspire people like through my story and like with my experiences, you know. And that's just the thing, is that I want to make sure to be very careful nowadays because of the way that social media is, like, you know, what I can say can be misconstrued. So I apologize if I do a lot of disclaimers in my speech, and it's just more so that I want to be mindful of the fact that other people have different experiences, and things that I've experienced and the things that I've done maybe not be healthy for other people, and I didn't realize it because it might have been healthy for me, but maybe not for other people. And so I just always want to say that and reiterate that, is that, you know, everyone's journey is different. But if, you know, if the things that I experienced and the things that I did, and maybe the activities that helped me cope, you know, like using different names, or using or like learning how to sew and like experimenting with fashion, if those things like resonate with you, then, you know, I can give lots of tips and pointers on that, because that's my experience. If that is not your experience, you know, if you're someone who actually has like a personality disorder, then maybe what I advised is not for you, and don't do those things, because it can make it like more like difficult for you to be like kind of like one person. And so, you know, because there was someone I had actually met who does have like a dissociative or disorder, and you know, talking about my experience with that was like kind of triggering for them. And so like I guess I need to like say trigger warnings and stuff before I talk about my story. I'm sorry like if that offended anybody, but yeah, I do want to try to be careful, and like with the things that I say, you know, really do take it with a grain of salt. This is my experience, and, you know, try it out for yourself if you think that it will be helpful for you. And if it doesn't, then just stop doing it. That's okay. You don't have to like take my word as law or anything like that. And, you know, all of the like resources by, you know, I'm not a professional, I'm not a therapist, I'm just a person who used creativity to grow up. But, you know, for official resources on like helpful things that are generally good for everybody, My link in bio now has lots of resources for you guys to check out as well. And if you guys have like social media accounts, like, you know, other creators that have different experiences than I do, and they talk about their story, about how they cope, if they're still struggling now and they have other mechanisms of coping as an adult versus like as a child or something like that, or like as a teenager, then you can send me that to my DM or something like that, and then I can, you know, kind of look at their content, and if it's like, you know, good, helpful, healthy content, then I'll add that to my mental health resources so that other people can find other people with different experiences than me. Because for me, I disclaimer, I don't have any mental illnesses. I was never diagnosed with anything. But, you know, my own struggles were, you know, I did have a lot of mental struggles growing up. But my experiences can only go so far. For anyone who is suffering in a more severe matter that really does need like more medical attention or professional help, then it's like, okay, then maybe I want to direct you guys to other social media accounts that have those experiences so that, you know, you have more relatable information that will apply to you. And so again, check my link in bio. If you guys have recommendations of other people, please also DM me so that I can add that to my link in bio as well. Thank you. Someone says, I actually commented a lot on your videos and commented about your outfits and stuff. Yes, thank you. Yes, I love comments on, you know, compliments and stuff about my outfits and like the actual effort that I put in. And so, you know, just when you guys are complimenting other creators as well, also compliment the work that they do. Because I think that goes so much more better than just existing, like complimenting their existence. But that's just how I personally feel. It might be different for other people, so always ask again, because that is the best way to know whether or not that is a good idea. Okay, so I can never make my makeup even on both sides. Another thing too actually is that if you guys can see, like when I close my eyes, one of my eyes is bigger than the other. So it's like my crease is different per eye, which makes it additionally difficult for me to put on even makeup. So you guys, if you are like watching beauty gurus and stuff online and you know, you're having a little bit of existential crisis with like, you know, like, oh, you suck at makeup or like things like that, you know, like maybe they have more symmetrical faces than you. That doesn't make you any less valid, and it doesn't mean that your makeup skill is not going to improve. But it also mean, you know, it also doesn't mean that, you know, symmetrical makeup is the only thing that is beautiful. My makeup is never symmetrical because my face is just not symmetrical. Like, my eyes are not symmetrical, and so I just... Anyway, hopefully that encourages you guys who are experimenting with things. For me, when I was younger and I was experimenting with fashion, I didn't have social media to compare myself to. I think if I did at the time, I might have not had this journey that I have now, where social media was like, I mean, not social media, where fashion was a really big part of like me growing up and experimenting with myself and feeling like I was not comparing myself to other people. Because when I was dressing up weird, quote unquote weird, when I was in like middle school and high school, there wasn't a lot of people around me who was doing that either. So I wasn't comparing myself to people who was doing that. You know, versus like drawing or music or stuff like that, I compared myself all the time to other people, and I had an issue with like who I was because I was just never good at anything. And that discouraged me a lot from pursuing those things. But fashion helped me a lot because it was something that I could pursue, be creative in, be proud of, and not compare myself to other people. And so I know that with social media, it's very, very, very hard to do that now because fashion is a very, very, very big deal for comparison because of the way that beauty standards have changed. And that was not something that I grew up with. And so for me, as someone who wants to promote fashion and beauty and experimenting with that in your life, I don't want you to compare yourself to me. I want you to take inspiration from my story and really start to understand and break down, again, like that's why I said the compliments and stuff, like beauty standards and all of that was, you know, like if I experienced that when I was younger, I don't know if I would be the person that I am today. And so I want to always make sure to talk about that on my live streams with people so that you guys can feel confident too. I've been doing makeup for years now. I first started doing makeup actually when I became Meridian. Was the first time I started experimenting with makeup because I was kind of old enough to get access to it and use it. And I did a lot of questionable things when I look at my pictures from when I was younger. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. I did look like a clown, but in that time, it helped me to feel confident in myself because, like, I would put effort into what I wore, and so I wasn't constantly comparing the skill set of my makeup to other people's skill sets, and so for you guys, you know, if you guys are experimenting with that and maybe you're feeling a little bit insecure about how your makeup looks now or how your style is now, that's okay. It's totally fine because you're going to be able to build it up. You know, I see a lot of like people and influencers, like people who are actually very, very, very serious about makeup versus like people who are serious about like fashion or like other aspects of their life. Like people who are serious about makeup, I see them like grow their channels and they get really good, like hecka good in like 2 years. And I've been like doing makeup for like 10 years and I'm like, I'm as good as you as like in your first month. But that's okay. You know, it's like your journey is your own. And when you put on the makeup, when you put on the clothing, when you put on wigs, when you experiment with your self-expression, how did that make you feel? How did that activity make you feel? And separate that really from other people. Because their journey is different from yours. And, you know, maybe their skill sets or talents are different from yours. And maybe for you, even if, like for me, of course, I wasn't good at it at the beginning. Nobody ever is. And then I eventually got better at it 10 years later. If you feel that that's not something that you're going to stick with for 10 years, then that's okay. And that's why you shouldn't compare yourself all the time, because maybe it's not something that's going to stick with you. But if it does stick with you, then you will get better. You know, just like I said, when I was younger, acting was a big deal for me because it was a very big coping mechanism for me. And so when I was in theater, I actually like seriously thought that, okay, I want to do acting when I grow up. I wanted to, you know, get into theater in high school. I wanted to, be in like the entertainment industry. I really thought about that when I was younger. Because acting was a coping mechanism for me, and so I felt that if I went into a career into it, it would like be good for me because I was already spending my time here. But 10 years later, 0, like I do not care for acting. I do not care for acting at all. And but when I was younger, it used to be a really big deal for me. Like I used to like, you know, try to think like, oh, I want to like transfer to a high school or like maybe a college that had like acting or like performing arts as a thing. And I would like always look at like, oh, if you want to apply to this school, you need to have like 6 years of experience in like ballet or dance or something, or like you need to have like whatever number of, like you need to be like child actors or something, or like your parents needed to force you into like developing a skill in performing arts if you want to be accepted to these you know, art schools or like these performing arts schools. And that really, really, really discouraged me. And I was like, my entire life I want like this is because I was young. I was very, very young, and I was like naive, right? Thinking to myself that like acting was a really big part of my life, and therefore I wanted to do that for when I was older. And I was like thinking to myself in my existential crisis when I was younger that my entire life is already over. I can never go into acting, and I can never be a dancer, and I can never go into performing arts because I wasn't doing this since I was 2. And I'm like, how can my life already be over before I even become an adult, like become 18 and become myself? And so for like that was some of the negative thinking that I had in my brain when I was younger. And so like, you know, to an extent, I know that social media and fashion kind of has a little bit of that because, not because like, oh, you're not going to be accepted into like a college and become a career. But, you know, there's a lot of comparison. There's a lot of comparison going on. And I don't want my content to make you feel that way at all because of where I am now. I am 10 years into doing fashion and makeup. I am 10 years into growing this length of hair. Probably 12 longer. But my journey for like self-love and stuff has been longer than that because obviously it was until Meridian that I actually started to do this stuff, which is why it stick with me now because I'm Meridian now still. But where you are now is okay. Where you are now is, if you're struggling and you're dealing with issues, that's just where you are. And comparing yourself to other people is very, very, very bad for like your mental health. It's very bad for your ability to gain confidence in trying to be a new person or develop yourself or try new skills, experiment with things, see if you like things or not. And so comparison is very, very, very hard because it can do those kinds of things to you. And I just wanted to let you know that, yes, I've had those experiences, not with fashion, but with acting and performing arts, which is why I never pursued that. But, you know, again, I have ended up pursuing fashion, and that was something that was healthy for me. And so for you, if you want to pursue fashion, please don't ever feel like you need to compare yourself to me. And, you know, just remember that parts of your journey are your journey. Instead, if you like my successes and you know, inspire or aspire to be somewhat like me or, you know, to have skill sets like me, then just know that it will come with time in your own journey. And only if you want to. If eventually you find other people that you want to follow, that inspire you more because they hit at a deeper level with you because of their own experiences that might be similar to yours versus mine or anything like that, then that's totally fine. You know, you can go follow those people and find things that are healthy for you. And that's just how it is. You know, staying in acting as far as like, you know, a professional career or like, you know, like trying to take it seriously was not healthy for me. It was enough for me to just cope and just separate my thoughts, and that was it. But it was not something that I needed to be in the entire world of. You know, for fashion, for me, it was. And so if you're experimenting with that, just figure that out for you. Okay, long story. Sorry, I'm like very, very, very rambly. Someone said, what is my favorite color? My favorite color is fuchsia. It is like a hot pink magenta-y color. Magenta leans more blue toned. And then hot pink is obviously very red. Fuchsia is like right in between hot pink and magenta, where it has more of a red tone than a blue tone, if that makes sense. Yeah, I guess the best way to, I'm going to use this palette, sorry, to describe that. And oh, it's not even the right color on the screen. Sorry, guys. Yeah. This is more magenta, and then this is more hot pink. More fuchsia. And then there's like a hot pink in like another palette. And this was more of the color that I like. But I guess on the screen, this looks more like fuchsia to me. And this would be more like a magenta on the screen versus like this is purple in real life. But anyway, that's, my favorite color is fuchsia. Someone says that they had to go, and I'm sure that that was like sent minutes ago or like whatever, long ago. But thank you for coming, and thank you for liking my content. Someone said, should I dye my hair pink or purple? I would say, why not try both? You can do an ombre, you can do one, or you can do another later. If you do pink first, it's easier to try purple later if you wanted to change it, because it's lighter. So that's what I would say. I have never dyed my hair before. I don't have experience with that. I have grown my hair very, very, very long. And so I've never dyed my hair before because I cared a lot about like my natural hair a long time ago. Now that I've had this hair for a long time, I kind of want to be bald and just wear wigs all the time because I love wigs and I like matching my wigs to my outfits. But I do not, I'm still like working through like separating like my childhood desire to have long hair with like me actually going bald. Eventually it will come. Eventually it will come. But for now, that's where I'm at. Okay. Someone says, what do you do in your free time? I watch a lot of anime in my free time. I also run this TikTok account and go live and put on my makeup and make content for you guys. A lot of my free time is also spent on making products. So a lot of you guys know that when I experiment with like my fashion and I put together outfits and stuff, a lot of the things are from things that I made myself. And so a lot of my free time is like me still experimenting with my fashion, creating more fashion, and dreaming about the day that I will have a successful fashion brand, because I've always wanted that when I started to get serious about fashion. And then, you know, I had a shop for a while. If you guys have been on my previous live streams, you've heard why I had to close it. But yeah, I'm at a point right now where I am capable, like time-wise and financially, to try a shop again. And so as you guys know, I am trying to open my shop. I think maybe next month. It's been a couple weeks since I said it, so yeah, I think maybe next month-ish I can start to open my shop or like have plans to have a drop or something like that. So that's what I'm doing in my free time right now. Watch a lot of anime, I go to conventions, and I am working on my products and my fashion and my social media and my shop. So that's what I do. And then my normal career for like work and stuff, I run a digital media agency, and I have clients whose businesses I do social media for, I do website building and development for, I do their graphic designs and stuff like that. And that's what I do for my career right now. Someone says, my hair is pretty. Thank you. I put a lot of effort into that. Someone said, should I buy Miku or Junko or Mikan? In time, you can do what you want. I've always been really into cosplay, but eventually, like, even to this day, I've never really, like, finished cosplays. Like, I have, like 10 cosplays that are, like, 80% done, and I never finished them, and I've been doing cosplay for a long time. But you know, like I said, even though cosplay is still important to me, I invested more time into fashion and I guess my makeup than I did on my cosplay. And so my answer to that, based on my experience, is, you know, who are your favorite characters? Who do you feel like are characters that are going to continue to be there for several conventions? I would say that Miku is there for every convention. So if you want to spend your money on something and you're not financially capable of getting all of them, or, you know, spacing out your finances so that you can get all of them within a proper, reasonable time frame, I would say Miku, because you'll be able to attend more meetups. You'll be able to find more cosplayers who cosplay Miku also, and become friends with them. And then Miku also has a lot of different variants. So if you have like the Miku wig, you can, you know, get different outfits, and then, you know, it's kind of quote unquote cheaper to get new cosplays because you have the same wig and you don't have to spend on the wig. The makeup, if you get good at a particular style of makeup for Miku, then you don't have to change it too much when you do Miku's next time. And so that's just my idea of, like, you know, if you need cost efficiency, then Miku's probably a good way to go. If you like Junko or Mikan, I think both of those are awesome characters from Dangan that frequent many times every time I go see conventions. Junko and Mikan are like those yandere characters, and particularly for Mikan, I have a preference for her because of the medical aesthetic, and I have a lot of medical things, and so I can always do like a casual Mikan, but that's just me. If you build like a Medi Kawaii wardrobe and you want to talk about mental health and like it ties into like a Mikan wardrobe, that could be cost effective for you. Mikan is also easier wig wise to wear than Miku, so if you have certain prohibitions or like inabilities to wear longer wigs or heavier wigs due to certain pain tolerances that you have, Mikan might be easier than Miku. These are just pros and cons that I'm thinking about. Junko I have a preference for because one of the first cosplays I ever did with my boyfriend when I met him and started dating him was Manami and Monokuma, and so Junko is like kind of in that realm versus Mikan. It's like I think a couple seasons later or something like that. So yeah. But otherwise, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here. But I think for cost efficiency, Miku would be the easiest to get into and continue to get use out of over a certain number of years. Mikan, for me personally, because I am in like the medical aesthetic and stuff, can also be cost effective. And if you want to incorporate medical things into your wardrobe as well, because I will be opening my shop soon and a lot of people want to support my shop, then that's a good idea too. So yeah. Okay, so yeah. Just trying to scroll through and see if there are any other things. Oh, Mama Scream gotta go. Thank you for coming by the live stream though. And I hope your mom is screaming in like in a way that isn't super angry.
How long will he be?
Probably another 15 minutes. I finished the eyeshadow. I literally only used 2 shades. I used red, and I actually used a highlighter for the inner corner of the eyes. That is the extent of my abilities, you guys, because a lot of people were asking about tutorials for makeup, and that's literally it.
I need help filling out a questionnaire.
Okay. I am going to put on my eyeliner, I guess, and maybe bring this to a close so that I can help out my boyfriend with what he's doing. Yeah. Anyway. Someone said I'm actually too weak. That's why they bring a small backpack and phone in it. Yeah, very small. I usually have like a fanny pack, and then I put my phone in there and, like, you know, my wallet in there, and then all of the heavier things that I need to carry around, I actually bring it in like a rolly cart for when I go to conventions. Someone said that my advice was helpful. Thank you. I'm not sure which advice it was because I talked about many stories, but thank you very much. Someone said, what time is it where I live? It is 3:48 right now in the afternoon. I love the pigtails you're making my hair. Thank you. Someone said, will you sell bandages in your shop? Yes, I will. Oh, and I did answer this. Someone asked me if I considered it DID, different personalities. I would say no. And to clarify further, because I did kind of disclaim it earlier, no, it was not, because I was in full control the entire time. People who have DID are not in control. And the personalities fight with each other. as far as I understand. I'm not super educated on it, and so if I made a mistake there, please do not take that as fact. I'm just trying to, from my experience and my understanding, is that no, it completely was not DID because I was in full control the entire time, and my ability to pick and choose from the characters that I was helped me to form who I am now. Versus DID was like, you know, as far as I understand it, like it's a coping mechanism because like the individual like main person cannot handle it, so a different personality comes out, and they might do things that the main person might not agree with, and that's how I understand it. And so it's very, very hard because it really is like different people, not acting. It's literally different people as far as I understand it. And so like really trying to be in control and to learn how to cope in a way with life that you don't need to rely on the other personalities to take over is the key difference. And so no, I did not have DID at all. And so I want to make that very, very clear. And so that's again why I say that people who have those experiences, what I experience and how I use that as a coping mechanism is like extremely the opposite for them. So hopefully that helps with understanding that. Someone said that I should incorporate the semicolon for depression in a design. Yeah, I think there's a lot of like imagery and terms and like all of those things, like notations and stuff that I want to start to include, but I just really want to make sure that I do it properly in like a way that will always contribute to the community rather than take advantage of. I know there's a very fine line between like, you know, especially with, you know, the biggest one and easiest one to see because corporations have already done it is like Pride, right? Where they have, let me just, 1 second while I draw this. Okay, I did it. Where they have, you know, LGBTQ representation, but yes, these companies are profiting on the LGBTQ community by advertising it as part of their campaigns. And there's no way around that. But even though they profit off of it, are they contributing positively to the cause? If they are, then I mean that's what they do. That it's a business. So I don't want people to like demonize corporations for profiting or even individuals or artists for doing that, because you know, and especially since, you know, like things are still growing, people make mistakes, corporations make mistakes, and I want to continue to see progress, awareness, and information being spread until, you know, like the actual education system by the government is actually creating programs for young people in schools and mandatory education around it. Until we have that, I don't think that there is a proper way that, you know, like should be dictated by any one person. And of course the government can even change as well. The education system needs reforms and stuff like that. But you know, that's just what I'm saying. But I really want to make sure that when I start using terminology for mental health and incorporating that into my products, I do it respectfully. Because again, like I said, I've never been diagnosed with any mental illnesses. Maybe some of the things that I experienced are maybe on the spectrum, but I have never gotten to a point where I was ever diagnosed or that my parents forced me to get a diagnosis or anything like that. When I was younger, my parents did send me to counseling and therapy and like school counseling and like at the doctor as well. But even through those experiences, I don't think I was never diagnosed with anything. So I'm pretty sure that the majority of the things that I was feeling was not particularly as severe as people who really do need like professional medical attention. And so I want to make sure to like not take advantage of that, because I am coming from a place of privilege. And so when I do, you know, these products where I incorporate like the medical and stuff like that, I didn't invent this concept of putting medical imagery with kawaii fashion or just medical imagery with fashion in general. I didn't invent it. And so it was already a concept and there's already a community around it. And so I'm joining, you know, a little bit of this community. I wouldn't say that I'm particularly active in like the community on the fashion side, more so than I just want to be on the side of just promoting mental health and this is the fashion that I wear. And that's kind of how I incorporate myself into the community. But you know, like this aesthetic and stuff already exists and kind of has a little bit of rules in place, versus like, you know, bringing in like the symbols, like for example, the semicolon for depression that someone recommended. I think it's an awesome idea, but it's definitely kind of more on the borderline of like what corporations are doing with Pride, and I just want to be more careful about that, because it's not like there's a whole community creating, you know, fashion that incorporates these designs. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and so there's just a line there where it's like there's a community that exists for like the Menhera, the Medi Kawaii, and the stuff that I'm part of, versus like there isn't a community for that kind of thing. And so more so than it's just like ideas that a lot of concepts and like corporations are using, and I want to make sure to never be construed that way. So that's just the things that, you know, like if I do those in the future, I need to put a lot of thought into it and how I do it and present it so that it's respectful. Someone says, will you choose anyone in the live to win something? Yes, it is the face mask that I just showed you guys in like a couple minutes ago. Okay, so I think I'm trying to just scroll through because there was a lot of comments. Thank you for giving me luck with the eyeliner, because now I have to do it on the other side. I will see what happens. And then I'll see if there's any other questions that I can answer. This one is higher than the other one. It is what it is. So anyway, it is what it is, but anyhow. Okay, thank you for sharing the live stream, 69. And then someone says, do I have a favorite song? Oh my god, I love answering this because it's like, in particular, I don't listen to music very often. Surprise, surprise, I know. It's not, it's a coping mechanism for a lot of people is to listen to music, but for me it wasn't. But recently I started playing this anime otome game called Obey Me. So if you guys know that game, I play it and I love it and I'm obsessed with it. And they recently came out with music tracks for like each of the characters. And so I have these plaques that I made. You might have seen these like last year or something. It got popular like as a TikTok DIY trend where you get these acrylics and then you can like print on like something and then you transfer like the designs here and you get like a music plaque kind of thing with the album. And so yeah, I don't particularly have favorite songs or anything like that, but I really like listening to the playlist for that game because I play the game and I love these characters so much. And so yeah, I have these music plaques. This is fan art that I had made for them. And so I have 1 through 7, all of these ones, but none of the units, if you guys are familiar with like this game and the music that they have produced. But I love this game so much. Oh, someone said, do I play Mystic Messenger? No, I don't. From what I heard from my friend, it's very high maintenance, and so I don't think that's good for me because I cannot keep up with that, I guess. Obey Me is a lot easier to keep up with and keep on the game. I was a free-to-play player for an entire year, and then when they came out with the anime and then like the 1 week exclusive like episode ahead of time, I decided to do the VIP subscription, which is $10 a month. I have been playing it for a year, so I guess it's worth it for me to do it. I don't really play the gacha. I've never spent any more than the subscription. I've always been free to play. So yeah, I'm trying to keep pretty healthy with that game and not to go too far into the deep ends of things. And so someone, one mid-restaurant says, oh my gosh, my favorite is Asmo. I love Asmo too. My favorite is actually Lucifer. He is my king. And I love all of the side characters, and I cannot wait for NTT Salmare, the devs, to release the songs for the side characters, and I will get art done for them and make these. But yeah, I just hang them on my wall, and that's what I do. I just have this shelf here, and I put those on my wall, and I love them very much. So someone says, my makeup is pretty. Thank you very much. Okay, so I think that's like, I'm actually caught up with all of the comments, and I am majority done with my, I'm just gonna finish this eye, put on lashes, and then like put on lipstick. So I can just do that off camera, and I will be making some TikTok videos today, and that's the end of my live stream because I think I've been on here for a little over an hour. So for you guys who are here at the end of the live stream, if you have questions, please send it to me via DM or put questions in my comments so that I can answer them with a video or something like that. Yeah, because I will not be able to answer any more questions now. I'm ending this live stream. So for all the people who are here, I am giving away this face mask. So if you are here, leave some comments. I'm about to scroll through and pick who is a winner randomly. One person asked really quickly what kind of outfit I'm going to wear. I'm just going to wear, I don't know yet. Actually, I haven't planned my outfit. I'm just going to be wearing some more of my Medi Kawaii outfit stuff. I'm going to be incorporating my medical stuff with my designs again. And I'm going to wear this shirt, and I'm going to wear red. I'm going to change my outfit a couple times for my videos. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I will figure out what to wear after this. Someone says, can you say hi to me? My name is Kimmy. Hi, Kimmy. 69 is Kimmy. Hi. Okay, so thank you so much for complimenting my makeup. I'm actually ending this live stream right now and doing a giveaway. So for anyone who is on this live stream, you are getting a face mask. I'm going to be scrolling through the comment section right now and figuring out who commented earlier, and whoever's right at the top, I will announce it. And if you are still here, you win. So I am scrolling up, and then I am scrolling down, and I'm scrolling up and down, and then scrolling up again, and scrolling down and up. Okay. Hobby underscore is underscore the cutest. The underscore cutest. Let me screenshot that. Okay, hobby underscore cutest. Are you still here? If you are, please say hello. And then you win. If you don't, and I don't see it because I know it takes a little bit of time for the comment to pop up, then I have to pick another winner. So let me know. And I guess I will try to finish this eyeliner while I wait for that comment to pop up. I messed up the eyeliner again. I don't see any new comments popping up, so I think that that person might not be on the stream anymore, which means I have to pick somebody else. Yeah, boy, mashed potatoes is on stream today. That teddy bear emoji is really cute too. Okay, so it looks like the other person, you are better than me at doing eyeliner because of the skill. 10 years, and I still can't do it evenly, but I mean 10 years will give you something. So again, like I said, do not compare. It's just part of the journey if you decide to commit to having that as part of your life. But it looks like they're not here, so I'm going to keep scrolling and see who can win. So I'm scrolling up, and I'm scrolling down, and I'm scrolling up again and down, and scrolling up again and down and up. Okay, Infested Spirals is right at the top there. Are you still on the live stream? If you are, please say hello so that I know you're still here. And that means you win. If not, I will have to pick somebody else. Infested Spirals says hello and a keyboard mash. Hello, thank you, awesome. Kylie Roblox underscore best says hello. You have just joined right at the end of this live stream. So, okay, Infested Spirals, thank you so much for being part of this live stream, for interacting on this live stream, giving me many comments and questions, and for entering the giveaway, of course, by being here. And you have won. Congratulations. So for me to send this to you, please send me a DM on TikTok so that I can coordinate the details with you as far as like what you need to send me, so that like information-wise, so that I can actually mail this to you. And if you are not able to send me a DM on TikTok, because I know that some TikTok accounts have like age restrictions or like whatever, I don't know what's up with TikTok and their DMs are kind of a nightmare, you can send me a message on Instagram as well. But I will be looking on my TikTok first. And then of course, I will be, like doing things the rest of the day today, and I will probably reply to you later on because I'm just going to hop off the app. So don't expect a reply from me right away, but I will reply later tonight. Okay, so thank you so much. And then Kylie Roblox underscore best says, you're so cool. 69, Kylie, Cammy, I think. You said how much will the bandage cost? It will be $10 on my site. And then, can you show all of your products I really want to see so I can buy some? Actually, a little announcement, sneaky peek, if you guys are still here. Next week, I am going to start working on fixing up my website. Because in a month-ish or so, because I finished up the I finished up the mental health document, at least enough to like share it with people. I'm going to still continue to add some more, but it's enough to share, which makes me happy, so I can start focusing a little bit on my shop because you guys wanted me to do that. So next week, I am going to be working on my website, and if you guys pop in during my live streams, I will probably be working on my website. I will try to have my camera point at the screen, and I'll have it on a tripod so that you guys can see what I'm doing. But if you guys also want to just like follow me on Twitch, because I'll stream it on Twitch so that you can actually see the screen itself versus like the face here or like a recording of a screen camera. It'll be better. But yeah, if you join my live streams next week, sorry. If you join my live streams next week, I will be working on the website and fixing it up and making it proper. There's going to be a password on the site, so no one's going to be able to get in. But you will be able to see me working on it and the products and the things that I'll be releasing and the pricing and all of that on next week's live stream. And if you guys like really want me to push like another product onto the shop and I have the ability to do so, then I guess you can vote in the comments also and let me know that it's like, hey, we want this and you don't have it. So I want to know. Yeah. So that's what I'll be doing. Thank you guys so much. I will see you on my next live streams. Bye.